Sounds good. All right, hey everyone, we're gonna go ahead and get started. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Michelle. I'm the listing coordinator here, and I'm excited to talk to you about listings today. So welcome to the training and welcome to the team. You guys are one of our newer agents, and thank you for coming. I feel like whether you've had multiple listings with Conversion Homes and have worked with me in the past, or if you're just preparing for your first listing that might be upcoming, you're definitely going to get something out of today's training. Hannah and I have worked together to put this together, and we've got some great information here. So let's jump right in. There we go. All right, so what we're going to cover today is the whole listing process. So from submission all the way to close, we're going to look at the forms that are filled out, the documents that are required, and all of the marketing that goes into your listing. We've got a 10-point marketing timeline that we're going to go over. This will be towards the end of the training. Hannah's going to jump in and help me with that a little bit, because some of the marketing services fall on me and my shoulders, and there are some pieces of marketing that fall to the marketing team. So it's not all done by the marketing team. I help them out. So we'll find out who does what, and then we've got some frequently asked questions that we'll go through and then take questions at the end. My goal today is just to help you feel ready to succeed with your first listing and to better understand my role in assisting you through the whole process, right? So I want to be a value add to the team. I want to be a resource for you. If you have any questions before or during your listing, just feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help. So the first thing we're going to go over real brief, the listing documents. I've got 3 columns here. The first column is what is required at listing submission. So we need a certificate of withhold. The only exception to that is if you were to go live immediately, same day as you turn in your paperwork. But 95% of the time, we're going to need that certificate to withhold. We're going to need a listing contract, agency disclosure, and the EXP and PHT affiliated business disclosures. So those 2 forms in particular have been updated multiple times over the last year, most recently in June. You can find those forms on PHT Agent Resources. You can also just email me and ask for them so that you can save them. But if you send me and turn in a signed out-of-date form, I will have to kick it back to you and get the most up-to-date form. So that's the one to really watch for. And then when you're ready for coming soon, we just need the coming soon authorization, the complete MLS data input form, and showing instructions. And by the time we go active, we want the applicable disclosures. So seller's disclosure, maybe a TISH, let's see, the lead-based paint, well, septic, things like that. So you've got all your documents signed. Now what do? So now you need to submit them to me through the listing submission form in Sisu. So I'm going to open this link and show you what that looks like. It's bigger, or is that okay? Okay like that?
Yeah, I think it's
all right. So when you open Sisu, this is going to be the main page that you see. You're going to want to go up to the transactions drop down and just click on transactions. And then you're going to see a plus sign in a circle, and that's where we're going to add your new transaction. From there, you're going to look at the transaction menu on the left, and you'll see the listing submission form. Make sure you click that. And then we're going to go ahead and get started. The first question is, what is the transaction stage? Or it doesn't matter what stage you want it to be that day. What you're going to always select is use for listing submission. The reason is when this transaction stage is selected, it'll generate an auto email both to me and to you after it's been submitted, so that you know that it's gone through successfully. And that's how I know to look for it in Sisu. Then you're going to find your name if it doesn't come up automatically. The transaction type is going to be seller. The first name is going to be the name of your client. phone number. I mean, just all of the basic same information that we had when we had the Google form in the past. All right, the address, pretty simple. So listing amount, that's new if you're comparing it to the old form, but it's helpful for me to know that upfront, especially because I like to check for accuracy between what you enter here and what's on the listing contract, and also what's on the MLS data input, because sometimes there's a discrepancy and then I need to just clarify what is the correct. Signed date, hopefully it's always going to be the day you turn it in. Listing expiration, we'll go to January. Lead source, is it personal or team? This makes a difference on how you're listed on the MLS, whether you're the primary or you're the co-selling agent. So we've got personal or team. How will it list today? I'd say 9 times out of 10 it's withheld, but we can get listings live same day.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So back on the listing where, like, if it's a team, who's the other person that gets listed?
So Pemberton Homes would be like the primary listing agent,
Yeah.
and then your name would be the co-listing agent.
So when people are calling, will they call like the general Pemberton Homes number? Or will they
Sometimes
call-
they do, and I'm actually the one who
Oh,
answers
okay.
that, and then I'll
Okay.
kick those calls to
Okay.
you all. However, I was gonna say, an agent
Oh,
remarks
okay.
100% of the time, I say offers and questions, and then I put your
Okay.
name in there. Yep,
Thanks.
yeah, no problem. The approximate MLS live date, if you know it, you can certainly put TBD if you don't know when it'll be live. And when I say live, I mean either coming soon or active. But you could put something specific, coming soon, 8/10, active, 8/14, whatever. Next is, do you need a post sign? So if you're in an HOA community, typically you're going to do step-in signs, but if you have a single family home, that's when we do the solar lit post signs. And so you can say yes, and I'll use a generic PHT panel, or yes, I have a personalized agent listing panel with my headshot and my phone number on there. If you don't have that yet, connect with Hannah, and she can let you know when the next batch order of those is going to be coming through. When you are on this form, if you see the I with a circle, that's going to give you more information. Okay, so in this case, it tells you post signs are for single family listings, step-in signs are available for the HOA communities. Next, we're going to enter our lockbox information if you have it. And then it's going to ask you if you want it on Raven. We'll talk a little bit more about Raven later in the training, but you can say, no, my client is not interested in off-market deals, or yes, I can add it myself, or yes, please have the listing coordinator add it to my account. I'd say 9 times out of 10, people have me do it, and I'm happy to. It just takes a second. Listing flyers, these are paid for by Pemberton Homes. So you can say no thank you to flyers, or yes, I'll pick them up because I need them quickly. I need them same day. I'll pick them up in Burnsville, or we can mail them to the Apple Valley office. We can mail them to the listing address, or other. Sometimes agents like them mailed to their house, and then they can bring them directly out instead of having to come to the Apple Valley office.
If it's possible, have it mailed to the house, because it is like the most streamlined.
For
way to
sure.
do it.
To the listing. If the exception to that is if the house is vacant, right?
Yes.
Then you would maybe,
Because they come in a package, so if it's vacant, it's gonna sit on the front porch and, stuff happens. so.
for sure. Next, public remarks. You can write your own, certainly. Otherwise, I'm happy to write them too. I'd say I write more than I don't. If you do want me to write your public remarks, if you can just add some notes in this box here. So maybe there is, they updated the furnace or the roof, or they just remodeled the kitchen and there's granite countertops, or something really specific. There's hickory or something that I wouldn't know from the photos. If you can put that in there, that really helps me. And then your document submittal, you can either upload them to Sisu or you can email them to me. I have no preference. It's whatever's easier for you. Leave these MLS live dates and coming soon dates blank if you don't mind. They're for me to fill out later. They help trigger tasks for me throughout the process. And then you're just going to click add. right? All right, perfect. Well, at least it worked. If you want to upload your documents, then you just go to the left transaction menu and you'll see documents here. You click on that and then you drop and drag your files that you want to upload into this box right here.
What if you don't know the sales price at the time that you're submitting?
So you can put 0, or you can put whatever's on the listing contract, because it's always on the listing contract as well, right?
You don't, I mean, technically, yes, but.
Yeah.
Only reply.
You could also just leave a note to me and say, you know, it's still up in the air pending confirmation of sales price. Just let me know. All right, very good. So now we're gonna go back to this.
Should people wait to submit on CSU until they have the signed listing contract? What if it's like out for signatures?
Yes, please don't turn in your listing in CSU until you have signatures,
Okay.
for sure. No, that's a good point.
And remember, you have 24 hours.
Right?
Well,
So I
48.
was gonna get to that later in my frequently asked questions, but you bring up a good point. The MLS does require that we take some action on your documents within 2 business days. So if you get it signed on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, by Wednesday, I have to have it uploaded like as a withheld minimally, right? So if it happens over the weekend, then I have until Tuesday. If it happens on a Friday, I have until Tuesday. But still, as soon as you can get it to me, the better. All right, so what happens next? You will get that auto-generated email within 30 minutes. CSU runs those every 20 to 30 minutes, they tell me. If you don't get the auto email confirming that your submission went through, it means I didn't get the auto email that your submission went through, and then just shoot me an email and we'll troubleshoot it together. But luckily, I haven't had that happen yet, as long as you have selected the correct transaction stage. Next, I do document review. I'm checking for signatures, consistency in the numbers. I'm making sure that all of the applicable documents were turned in. And then I kick those off to Rochelle, our virtual assistant, and she creates a file in SkySlope and uploads the documents there. SkySlope is our back-end broker review platform. So it's just another set of eyes on all the listing documents. Then I'm going to isolate your listing contract out of the paperwork and attach it to an email that I send to your client that I'll CC you on. It's an introductory email. I introduce myself, I introduce the marketing team. I just let them know that I'm an additional resource to them so that they know and understand that there's a team backing you and that you all have support. From there, I'll add the listing to the MLS, typically as withheld, and then I'll add it to Raven. So if you guys don't know what Raven is, it's just where we put our office exclusives. It's shared with about 175 other agents if you're looking for off-market deals.
So when it's in withheld, it's visible to no one, well, except for you.
It's visible.
To our team.
To our
we will
team.
get to add edit on MLS.
Oh.
Every withheld on our team.
Correct, but it wouldn't be visible to other agents on other teams unless they have access to like our group. Yep. From there, I'll send you an update email and say, hey, it's uploaded as withheld, it's on Raven, I reviewed your paperwork, it looks great, or I reviewed your paperwork and it's missing a signature or some initials, or we're missing a document. And then depending on how you answered the question of when will this go live, it'll really depend how my email closes. Either, you know, hey, I saw that we're gonna go coming soon in 2 days. Like, let's get this rock and rolling. Or if it was to be determined, then I'll wait for you to let me know what the next steps are. And at this point, this is kind of my pause point with the listing, but this is not your pause point. So this is the point when you start initiating some of the a la carte marketing services. We're going to go over all of them a little later on, but the first one that I do want to talk about, because this is right where it would fall, is staging. So home staging, in your handouts, there is a 2-page flyer with staging recommendations on there. So you can coordinate a stager for your client, or you can ask that I set something up. Typically, I'm going to connect them with Susie Passions. Her consultation fee is $250. I will send an email to the agent, to the client, and to Susie, let her know that we have an upcoming listing and they would like to get something coordinated with her. That $250 or whichever stage you go with, their consultation fee, if I set it up, will be paid for by Pemberton Homes in advance. I'll take care of the invoice, but then that will come out of your commission at closing. Anything beyond the consultation, typically the client will pay for. I've seen one time where an agent paid for the whole package of staging. It was a very high-end listing. So typically, that is what you will do with home staging. We haven't had a lot of it in the last year, but I anticipate with the changing market that this might be something that people decide to do more and more often. There's also options on here. We can do virtual staging with Box Brownie is a website that I use. That's been pretty, it's reasonably priced and I think they do a really good job.
They're good.
Yeah, they're really good. So if it's a vacant home, we can do some virtual staging as well.
And usually for vacant staging, you still upload so you have the stage photo and then you upload still the empty because you don't want to misrepresent the house ever, but yeah, they do a good job. We've used them a few times.
And in fact, I will put together some examples and I'll get those out on Slack this week so that you guys can see what the virtual staging looks like. All right. So we've completed the first steps, right? You've turned everything in. Hopefully you've got a lockbox out there. You're starting to pick your a la carte services. Some of you might be curious, how long does this process typically take? I would say it typically takes about a week from when someone turns in a listing until their listing is live, but it can take a month, it can take 2 months, and we can literally get it all done in one day if I have all the proper paperwork and a minimum of 1 photo of the home. So just let me know what you need and we will make it happen.
If they do want to go live right away, like what's your cutoff? You know, like if they want to go that day, is it noon? Or
So
not that
I
we have
say that my cutoff is 3 o'clock for all listing submissions to be processed same day. If it's a situation where you want it to go live noon, I think it's fair, but honestly, if I get it by 3 and you've got your stuff together, we can certainly make it happen.
Okay.
Yeah, so 3 o'clock really, but the earlier the better if it's going to be a same day. So we'll come back to this graphic, sorry, a little bit later. All right, so then the next logical step in the process is ordering photos, right? So we're going to go back to Sisu. This will be real quick. And we're going to do the photo request form. So again, you're going to go to transactions, but this time your transaction already exists, right? Because you've already created it when you submit. Sometimes you'll request those before your listing and then opposite order, but at some point between the two, you're going to go in and find your listing. And then you're going to go to the photography request form. And a lot of this is already going to be filled out. You are going to need to update the transaction stage, okay? When you get here, it's probably going to say withheld because I'll have moved it. But you need to just take it out of withheld and put it in use for photo requests because again, that's how the auto email is generated to send it to me. So use for photo requests. This is all started for us, the property square footage, and then your photographer preference. So in your handouts, you have the photographer recommendations. So we have VRX, sky definition, and space crafting. You can see their pricing there. It's kind of good, better, best as far as quality and pricing. VRX, I would say, is what we use, I don't know, 60% of the time. Sometimes we bump up to sky definition. The price goes from $240 to $295, but honestly, I think the quality of photo goes up significantly, and I think it's worth jumping up to sky definition. And then space crafting are going to be like our higher end listings, anything over 600,000. Would you agree?
Yeah, well, we will not let you send VRX out to $1 million.
No,
So don't
certainly
worry.
not. Yeah. So you can choose your photographer, or you can say listing coordinator's choice. Sometimes that's easier for me, especially because it's not always the case that your client's first preferred photo date is available with the photographer that you request, and then I have to choose an alternate one. if it's not, so let's say you choose VRX and you want the photos in 2 days and they're unavailable, but I look into it and I see that I can do it with Sky Definition on that date. I'll reach out to you and say, what's more important to you, the client's preferred date or that we do VRX, you know, and I'll give you your options and you can choose.
I think if you're wanting to do like twilight in drone photos, I would bump up to Sky Definition. VRX does virtual twilight photos, so they're like a little on the cheesy side. They usually look fine, but I would recommend bumping up. And they don't do, well, I guess they do aerial.
They do aerial.
Sky Definition specializes in drone stuff, so.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I know that like Box Brownie does twilight photos. Do agents ever like do VRX and say, can I get this photo?
So they haven't yet. We've only ever done the virtual staging, but we have taken photos and then asked VRX to create the virtual.
Okay.
And they have looked pretty good. I know Cam did it once, so I'll have to go back and find that listing and show you guys how that looked. All right, next we'll put in our preferred dates. How will the photographer access the home? Is the seller going to be home or is there, you know, a lockbox or something? And then home photos, interior and exterior is typically what you'll choose. Sometimes though, right, in the fall, if you are going to list a house in the winter, they still want the green photos, so that it would be exterior only. So that's why you've got the options here. So interior and exterior, we'll do the Matterport and the floor plan with measurements. Those are the 3 things included in the standard packaging that you see the prices on. So those 3 things for VRX is $240. Those 3 things with Sky Definition $295. And then if you want additional photos, if you scroll over the little eye, it gives you more information on pricing. You don't have to say no to all of these if you don't want them, but if you do want them, if you want twilight photos or you want aerial photos, just select yes. And then this is where I find out whether or not you want a marketing listing video created. So if you say yes, then what I'm going to do is send an email to the marketing team and to you and say, hey, Hannah, you know, Jen has a listing coming up. The photos are scheduled for August 15th and she would like a listing video shot. Can you please coordinate? The listing videos are typically shot the same day as photos because the house is ready, right? Do you have anything to add on that right now?
I get asked about turnaround time on those. I can make a day happen. It's not super fun, but I can do it. So if I could have like 2 or 3 days, that's preferred, but a day can happen as long as it's in the morning of that day.
All right, awesome. And then we're just gonna hit update. And that is gonna send both me and you the auto email saying this submitted successfully. Photos I'll get a suitable one right away. So this turns to update. There we go. Okay, so what happens next? So I schedule the photos, I pay for the photos. So PHT pays for them upfront, and then that cost is deducted from your commission at closing. And then I send an email with the photo appointment details to the client as well as to the agent. Photos are scheduled Monday through Saturday, and they come back the next business day. So Saturday photos will come back on Monday. As soon as I get the photos back, I email the link to the photos to the client and the agent. I upload the photos, the 3D tour and the floor plan to the MLS, and then I write the public remarks based on those photos. Awesome. So once those things happen, you've submitted your documents, you've got your photos back, and you feel ready for your listing to go live, anywhere from 0 to 3 days prior, it's awesome if you can turn in all of the remaining required documents. I'll upload all the disclosures to the MLS. I will always confirm with you before I make anything live on the MLS that you're ready to go and that I have everything that I need. And then I will order the post sign for you. So when I put in a report to go in, they're installed Monday through Friday. And the reason is the sign installer connects with Go for One to get the utilities marked. And I think that usually takes 2 days as well. So we'll get those in. The sign can go in up to 24 hours in advance of your listing going live. So we could even order it, 3 days is about as early as I like to order it, but we could even do it 4 days in advance. The sign costs $50, paid for in advance by PHT, and then comes out of your commission at closing. There's also step-in signs available and open house directional signs available back here by the printer. Those are free and you do not have to check them out. Just when you're done using them, please bring them back. Please bring them back. All right, so it's live day. What happens? At this point, I will pivot from withheld to coming soon or active. I will also set up showing time, either as go and show or confirm appointment. I will set up the listing activity report. This is how you and your client get feedback. My standard practice is it will go out once a week on Mondays, like after the weekend, right? So Mondays, once a week to both you and to your clients. They'll get all the feedback, but anything different, just let me know. Want feedback from them. Some agents want it to come every single day instead of once a week. So just let me know. Then I will send the live link to the client and copy you, the agent. And at that point, that is when I order the listing flyers. And the reason is the printer that we use, they pull all the data from the MLS. That way there's not duplicate data entry on my part. So it has to actually be live before I can order the flyers. Those are PHT paid. You do not have to pay that back. And they are delivered in 1 to 2 business days. Unless, of course, you want to pick them up at the printer and then they're printed same day. So at this point, more marketing magic is going to happen. But in the upcoming days or weeks while your listing is live, I will continue to monitor the listing. I can, add open houses for you. I can upload any documents that maybe are trailing in, any price changes or status changes. I update all of that. So a status change from active to active contingent or to pending, I take care of that upon notification from the transaction team. And when we go pending, if you have a sign, I automatically order the sold rider. You don't have to request one, and that's paid for by PHT as well. Cool. So why don't you guys pull out the marketing timeline? We're going to take a look at that. This is all inclusive. This is not everything that you will use every time, but this is everything that is available to you. So the first point is we add it to Raven. That helps you with off-market deals and getting buzz in advance of going live. Your next option is that staging consultation that we talked about. We do photos, and then the listing video is available to you. Broker open houses, I've only seen happen a handful of times. Hannah, do you want to?
So that's like if you're in withheld or coming soon, you can only market to your brokerage. So it would be you inviting other EXP agents to come and check out the house. You have a first right of refusal, basically. We can't publicly market it, but you can market it on any EXP Facebook group or through email to EXP. There's an EXP roster for Minnesota. So basically you just hold an open house, but it's just EXP agents and not their clients.
And so how do they let the other EXP agents know?
Posting on the Facebook groups or through email or phone call, obviously. But a good way to do that is to reach out to team leaders if you have good connection with them and be like, hey, I'm holding this open house. I know you guys do a lot of business here. Come check it out. Send your agents through.
Perfect. All right, and then we've got our sign. Then we go live on the MLS. Then we order the flyers. And then we have a social media schedule that goes out. So on Wednesdays, anything that went coming soon between over the weekend, if something ever went coming soon through Wednesday, that will be posted on Facebook and Instagram. And then on Friday, it'll be all of our actives. And on Friday, we also post stories about our open houses. And so that is the portion that I do. I create the graphics for those. and I put them on there, and then Hannah goes in after the fact and boosts them however she does her magic.
Yeah, there's like Facebook ads basically that run, and then the Google target ads are auto generated, but kind of, yeah. That's a third party that does that for us, but
All right.
it's all automatic. And if you do a listing video, we boost the listing video separately from the regular social media posts as well.
Do you want to talk about reverse prospecting and door knocking and door
Yeah.
hangers as well?
So, reverse prospecting is also a thing that people, well, I shouldn't say that. A lot of people do it during the intense seller's market, but basically, once your listing is live, you can see agents who have, or clients who have favorited it through other agents, and you can reach out to their agents and market your listing directly to them since you know that their clients are interested. I recommend doing this before you have an open house, like the day before. Call the agents who have hearts next to their names and be like, hey, I'm hosting an open house. Send your clients through. Obviously, I'll respect any relationships that are already built. I would just love to get another set of eyes on the house. I recommend calling and doing that because everybody sends emails, and how many emails you actually open that are reverse prospecting. If you want to email, I'm happy to make you like a little thingy, little graphic to send out, but door knocking, Caitlin and I, well, door knocking and mailers, Caitlin and I are both well versed.
Do it for us.
Not doing it for you. No, but we design those here. Door knockers we print here, so those are quick turnaround. If you need them, like order them Thursday, need them Friday type of thing, we can make that happen. Mailers, on the other hand, do take up to 2 weeks to mail out, depending on how you are wanting to do that, plus design time. So mailers right now, I recommend doing just sold instead of just listed. I recommend door knocking for just listed and then doing mailers for just sold, just so we have that lead time that we need to get those done for you. But if you are interested in door knockers, mailers, reverse prospecting help, social media graphics, shoot us an email with the address. Let us know if it's something prior to going live. Let us know when it's going live. If it's something around closing, let us know when it's closing, so that way we can gauge when we need to, how we need to prioritize it. But we're happy to help and answer questions. Mailers, there's a lot of different options out there. There's Everydoor Direct, there's Presort, there's you taking up to Walgreens and printing up and addressing them yourself. So we're here to help kind of navigate all your options too.
Perfect. And then I'm not going to go through everything on this flyer. You can certainly take a peek at it yourself, but it kind of talks about the standard marketing services. Those are things that I will help take care of. And then the a la carte services are things that the marketing team takes care of for you.
Something with mailers too, that is the only additional a la carte thing that agents are responsible for paying for. So just know going into that there is a cost associated that PHG does not cover at the front end or the back end. So,
The door hangers we do.
yes.
Okay. Perfect. All right, and so just to call it out like one final time, these are the costs associated with listings. The first column is agent paid. The second is PHT paid. Probably should add the hangers on there. The door hangers.
What is spacecrafting charging for?
So it depends on the square footage of the house, but it starts at $460 maybe
So
for the
I paid
photography.
45 when I used them a couple months ago. So
It's
So
540 for an average.
is it? Yeah, okay, perfect. So 540 for the average. I would wonder what was included in that package. If it included the 3D Matterport or it included the schematic floor plan, right? That comes with all the measurements for you. Because we get a discount because we use them so much. So these are our discounted prices.
Matterport boosts you in the algorithm on Zillow and Trulia and Realtor.com. So that's something that I would never skimp on because, like, if you look at our listings that have that versus other listings that don't have it, we have thousands and thousands and thousands of more views than other listings do in the same area, same price point. So I recommend just pay for it. It's worth it.
Perfect. Thank you.
What was that service?
Matterport. So that's your 3D tour that you like click the dots and it takes you to the house. Yeah.
right, perfect. And now we've made it to closing day. Hooray. So I will receive an email update from your transaction coordinator with the sales price, close date, seller contributions, and financing type. That is how I update the MLS to sold. And then I will go ahead and automatically request that the post sign be removed at this point, if applicable. So just to review, we've now kind of gone over this whole process. Anything with the green dot, those are kind of like the milestone points, and then the black is just kind of like what happens in between. So this graphic is on PHT Agent Resources, and I'm going to show you the new listings page that I've created in the last week or two to close out the meeting. But before we do, our frequently asked questions. The first one is, what do I do if I don't know my CSU login? Just email me and copy Cassie. Whoever gets to it first, we will send you a new welcome email that'll reset your password, and you just create a new one. What time of day do I need to turn in my listing for submission? That's 3 o'clock, Monday through Friday. Where can I get the latest version of the EXP and PHT affiliated forms? You can get those on Agent Resources. I'll show you where in just a minute. As far as lock boxes, if you didn't come to Pemberton Homes with your own lock boxes, we do give out 2 per agent as needed. And so just come find Hannah or myself. They're locked up in a little cabinet by our desks. And so we'll sign them out to you. But you can hang on to those. And then let's see, how do I request post signs installed or taken down? Really, as long as you said, yes, I want a post sign in your listing submission, I take care of that. You guys don't have to remind me or ask me to do anything. If you have a listing price change, what do? There's an MLS listing change form that'll need filled out and signed and submitted to me just via email. And I'll go ahead into Add Edit and I can change the price. And then I'll upload that form to SkySlope just to keep the broker in the loop. And then if your listing cancels, same form, the MLS listing change form needs to be signed by yourself and your client. And then this also needs to be signed by the broker. Send it to me and I can get the broker signature same day. I feel I have had in the past much better luck than the agents trying to go to the broker directly. So you can send those to me. All right, before I show you PHT Agent Resources, which I promise I'll only keep you less than 5 more minutes. Does anyone have any other questions? Yeah.
Is anybody else, when I do the listing submission, I still don't, that my second line is not agent. I don't have an option to pick my name.
That is bizarre.
I
No
don't
one else
know
has
where-
mentioned it to me.
Yeah,
Can we look at it together after
Yeah.
this? Okay,
not there.
sounds good. Has anyone else in here turned in a listing and did you have to use the agent drop down to select your name, or was that not there? And so it's just like automatic your name because you were logged into your account. Do you know?
I wonder if you are the mysterious person who's just in there as user.
Maybe,
One person on our team that is just user.
maybe, because I mean, and
So I
I sent
wonder
you,
if that's
did I
you.
send you that video?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
She-
not there.
Yeah, she recorded, so I know it's true. It's not there. All right, we'll
And
look
she kept
into
saying,
it.
go there, and I'm like, I'm there, it's not
Right,
there.
right.
Maybe that's me then.
Bizarre. All right, just real quickly, if you haven't been to PHT Agent Resources recently, we've got a whole slew of new tabs up here to help you. But if you click on the listings tab, it's got the generic listings email address there. So you can email me with listings at Team Pemberton or Michelle at Team Pemberton. Right now, I'm a 1-person department, so it all comes to me. Maybe as our team grows, that'll be a different story. We've got some walkthrough videos here to go through the listing submission process, just like we did today. We've got written instructions. We've got staging and photography recommendations here. Here's the listing process graphics for you, and then a whole bunch of frequently asked questions beyond what I showed you guys in the presentation. So that is all here as well. One of my frequently asked questions, though, just to show you, is where can I find the latest version of the EXP form? And if you click on it, right here. And there it is for you, and you can download it. So
I think
Perfect.
under transactions tab too, there's one that is EXP and PHP separate, and then one
Yes.
is going to you. So if you ever need just one, there.
Yep. There it is. All right, perfect. If there's no other questions, then I just remind you that I'm here for you. I definitely don't mind questions and happy to help, especially if it's your first listing. There is no silly question. So awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.